Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of Old Grumblers podcast. Are you ready to rumble? It is time to talk about some fancy DLC news, Skull Throne events, and all manner of things. Also, here's the cast. But that is beside the points. With me, my glorious co-hosts, Colonel Damders, Monster Bound. I don't know on which side they're sitting on or where I'm sitting on the screen. Somewhere around here.
You somewhere. I can't remember where.
How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. That intro, it scared me. It was so intense.
So intense. I feel drained from that. I feel like you stole my energy for that outburst.
I'm very used to being that. I used to go camping a lot, so I'm used to being intense.
Nice. So yeah, but
that was genuinely impressed. That was so good. That was so good.
As Fred said, you know, there was a Skulls event, so I'm wearing this. I'm going to take it off. But, you know, we got a Warhammer 3 What's Next, and we got the Skulls event. We're going to cover Warhammer 3 What's Next, because let's be honest, that's probably what most of you care about.
Yeah.
And we finally got the name for the DLC. We got Tides of Torment. Woo! I can't wait to see what the community comes up with to make fun of this one, really. It's going to be terrific. But what do you guys think, since you know, you've definitely watched that video and made notes?
I did watch it. I mean, I skimmed it. Well, I watched the highlights. Well, I listened to someone who had watched it. I think it was interesting, and also the fact that they have. I mean, Sail, is it Sail Faithless? Sail Faithless. Yeah.
Sail the Faithless.
That obviously kind of confirms that leak that came out a month ago, which interesting. But like, I'm not down with it. I'm not 100% sure the characters are necessarily super exciting. I mean, we've seen a lot of snake tits, which is great. Don't mind
snake
that.
Staff.
That's it. But
they got a snake staff as well. It's on theme.
The snake DLC, Tides of Torment.
Tits and a phallic device that works. Anyway, so I mean that's fine, and I like the fact that Norsca's getting an update finally. They definitely deserve it. That's great. Really like that. The fact that Norsca, like the faction that hasn't had anything done to them since.
They've had that they can colonize places and they get better harbors.
Woo!
Ports.
Wow.
God, yeah. Remember when you couldn't colonize anywhere? That could you get like different people's capitals? Like I remember you could get Altdorf and you could collect them all and you got different research projects.
It was only port towns. Was this?
Oh my God! What? Yeah, that was the time.
I think you could take Kazakarak. Like for example, Kazakarak was one of them.
Yeah,
and I think you
capitals
could take
and ports.
And I think that counted as a settlement, even though it didn't have a port.
Yeah. So you could take capitals because that was also part of the technology tree as well. So you get like cool stuff if you manage to hold a capital for, you know, till you got the tech.
Yeah. The beauty of, you know, been making videos about this damn game for so many years is that, like, you know, I made guides for the original Norsca and Beastmen, and so you're just like, wow, they are just actual dog shit. And so now I'm like excited, like, oh my God, it's Norsca. Like when I made the one for the Beastmen rework, it was really like, oh my, they're good. I don't believe it. But Norsca. So we got Sail, the Faithless. It's one of the two. I'm not sure which.
Faithless. He's not he doesn't really keep to his word. He's a very sneaky guy.
All about betrayal, perhaps.
Yeah, he's the betrayal archetype of GW characters.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the Thresh? His betrayal mechanics at the start? Damn, they're so awful. It's like gets 5 melee attack or some shit like that if you break any agreements.
Yeah, I feel like mechanics that revolve around diplomacy like that are always a bit jank, and they did actually say that he's going to have some sort of diplomacy betrayal based mechanic. So fingers crossed they can get that one to work. But they did also mention that like this is what they like. They want to do a major diplomacy rework. I think it's not very good, which I'd kind of agree with. But they basically just said like we're too scared to implement it, which I mean that's fair. Like you don't want to rework it and then make it worse.
Yeah, I mean I think diplomacy is as good as it's kind of like it's not really Three Kingdoms diplomacy, but it's still pretty good. Like it is good.
It's as good
I
as
think.
it's been. It's just it's a bit basic.
mean, only 3 kingdoms in Total War has a better diplomacy system. But I do understand that it is like very unbalanced. So you probably want to like rework that, because right now it's like take a city from somebody with like 29 settlements, sell it back for vassal, stuff like that.
Yeah, I did. What did I do the other? Oh yeah, I was playing a modded Lizardman campaign where they kind of like there's medallion fragments scattered across
I've been
the world.
trying that. The medallion
Really
of Shakwa or something.
Yeah, that's it. It's pretty good. But what I did find was that because you couldn't get a medallion piece without taking a settlement, I had to like teleport to the middle of Cathay, attack Zhao Ming, yeah, I had to attack Zhao Ming, take one of his cities, which he wasn't super happy about. I'd had no contact with him before, but having taken his city, literally turn up, take his, like, kill everyone, take his city. At that point, I then teleport away, and I'm like, would you like your city back? And he was like, absolutely. Also, here's a military alliance and 150,000 gold. I'm like, I think,
yeah, it's never been better, but it does have its flaws, to say the least.
It's just the city value and just seems to be so wonky. They're just like, oh my, a city? You're gonna give me a city? Here is take my firstborn child, my secondborn child, all of them. Take all my children. You can have them. I don't care.
It's a city, and it's in the middle of my empire, so easily protected. This is amazing. I was like, yes, it is. That's right.
There's also like so many weird things about that, because since they value it so highly, you can never buy a settlement either.
No.
You just become like this forceful real estate agent of some kind. It's like, well, watch housing prices go up. This is $1 billion now because I built 2 military buildings into it.
I've got a mod that basically lets me trade settlements for a reasonable amount of money, because otherwise you could never buy a settlement off an AO faction. Even if you've got like, if it's a 4 settlement province and you own 3 of them, getting that last minor settlement, even if it's a complete trash tip and surrounded by enemy armies, so the AI is like, absolutely not. I will never sell that to you.
It always annoys when the AI does that. Like I was playing Elspeth and bloody Zufbar took one of the settlements, not in northern Sylvania, I think. I was like, why have you done that? It's unsuitable terrain for you, my friend. You want to be up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just attack
that's why I got that mod.
Ungrim and sell it off. Hey, would you like correct Kadrin? Just an angry Ungrim bashing at the doors.
Well,
they weren't interested. Let's get back to the DLC.
Yes,
but with I'm not really completely faithless in their being able to rework diplomacy in any way. But I do kind of like Sail as a lord, actually, because you already have like, well, what other dudes can you actually put in for Norsca, right? Like Lord Mortkin would be pretty good. But he's still like just a good fighter, right? Because you already have like Wolfric, who's supposed to be a great fighter, and then you have Throg, who's a giant fighter, and then it's like another fighter. So a sorcerer is pretty good.
Sutharik, and then just go full Mad Max Fury Road, but ice.
Attack, yeah.
Just go apps. Just go like just loads of chariots, and then watch them not do very well on the battlefield, but still they'd be there. That's the important.
I feel like if you were a designer for this game, you would be like having so much fun, but also be fired within 3 months. It's like, what have you done? It's like, yeah, look at it. It's like, and this is how you pimp the chariots. And people are like, oh, I guess this is good. And then like, I don't think I like it though. How many designers did you say worked on this?
It's like, well, we had to stop all development on every other Total War game, but you can now paint chariots. So
I would give. I mean, I wouldn't, but I would like an army painter. That'd be very cool. But we're not getting it. We're not getting that. That's not been announced. I wish it was. But yes, it's all about. It will be interesting to see what that is and how else it comes. I think the only other direction that you could. I mean, I don't know Norsca law, obviously, but to my mind, like, did either of you play the Famia mod?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, if you could expand that side of Norsca, because even with the Famir mod, they're a little bit half of a faction, just a little bit.
I mean, Norsca has a ton of really cool lore, right? Like they have the Werebear brothers. They have, some places have like this Lord Humongous, right? Who Archeon has to fight. Yeah, Lord Humongous, exactly like in Mad Max 1, right? which is played by that Swedish bodybuilder Martin something. But he basically sits on a chariot because the rest of his tribe is like demon possessed horses, and they have like warpstone tipped bows and stuff like that. But he has to be on a chariot because he's like humongous, right? They also have these other places that have like rhinoxes with like napalm jugs basically chucking at stuff.
That doesn't sound very safe.
No, it's not. It definitely turns on them in the end, but there's a lot of cool stuff. Wait, I have a little paper here about cool shit that's
imagine you're a Norsca tribe and you're going, right, we need all the other tribes have got a thing, right? They've got a thing. Like we got the bow tribe. They just like wearing bows in their hair. Absolutely fine. And what about we be the Rhinox napalm jug tribe? And everyone's going, Jerry, I don't think that's a good idea, mate. That sounds dangerous. He's like, no. Hear me out. Let's give it a shot. First battle, entire tribe wiped out.
There's because someone like drops a napalm and just boom.
Before the battle, it's like everyone dies.
It's actually the Tong that have those. I had to check my notes here, which is pretty cool. So it's basically they just fire like something like bloated corpses almost, but like from fire jugs, and then the fire stays around like napalm and stuff. Like the Greylings have tons of weirkin, for example. The Dark A-Goals as well, which are also in the game already, are like both men and women in like little straps and stuff like that, little leather straps.
That sounds interesting. I'd like to see that.
Follow Slaanesh.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was just like, maybe they just don't have many clothes. I don't know.
I mean, there's Hastelings also. Hastelings that have like a bunch of bones on everything as well on their armor.
You always need a good strong theme with GW. You can't just be the Norscan tribe that's just kind of Norscan. You need the Norscan tribe who's paints themselves yellow.
Also, having Sail there is pretty good as well, because Dolgans like have something that is probably like a little bit problematic language-wise nowadays, because they did have like seer queens, but actually they're like gypsy queens is what they're called all the time, which are people, like these sorceresses that control the weather and stuff like that. So they'll like make it, an ice storm everywhere. And then their dudes are just really, really good at handling that cold and stuff like that.
They still live in Norsca though, don't they?
So a lot of these dudes are tribes in the north, right? Because Dolgans aren't
cold anyway.
Yeah, so Dolgans aren't really like Norsca is kind of like Champagne. It has to be in the region of Norsca to be a Norscan. But everybody just calls them Norscans. Everyone who is like the barbarian tribes of the north.
It's got sparkling barbarians.
Yeah, basically. So because for example, you have the dreaded Wu, who are also in the game just outside of the Great Bastion, right? And these are like in the Arcanum books, they are led by a dude called Feng Shun Ku of the Celestial Hundun tribe. And they're basically like Cathayans, and they have like black lacquered armor instead of the jade ones. And the curved swords and iron masks and stuff like that.
Oh my God, give me them. I want them.
Yeah, basically immortals from 300, So it's they got cool stuff. But the Tong obviously like having some of the more special things with their mangonels, basically, driven by rhinoxes that chuck fire stuff. That's pretty cool.
I really do think it would be. There's so much stuff they could do in Total War Warhammer, and I guess they're just limited by what Games Workshop will let them do. Because to my knowledge, there's only one. Because you got Solostra, she is the only legendary lord that is not mentioned in lore anywhere, because she was made specifically for Total War.
Wasn't Luther Harkon a bit vague as well?
Yeah, Luther Harkon was always around.
He was mentioned in lore. There's loads of stuff in Warhammer which is sort of like mentioned in lore.
I mean, Cathay as well. Like all of those dudes are basically made for the game as well.
Yeah, I mean a lot of Kislev as well. Kislev was very, very. From my knowledge, you had the winged hussars, you had the
big balls, didn't you?
Yeah,
Boris was
Boris.
before the lore retcon. He was the only one who actually had a bear mount as well. There were like no bear cavalry. It was just him that had a bear mount.
But, and I think this is right, someone will tell me if I'm wrong here, Boris is based off a miniature that was scratch created. Like there was no mini for Boris, and someone made one, like a guy riding a bear, and that was then sort of like used for the basis of Boris effectively. So I don't think he ever had a mini. I think unless it came later.
I mean,
could be wrong here. Fact check.
But yeah, I mean, like it's always weird with those kinds of armies like Vampire Coast and Kislev, right? Because they had like some stuff that you could play on the tabletop, but like not lots.
They were an allied army for the Empire, effectively.
But it's always fun to me because CA has said that like we won't be doing stuff that doesn't have clear army books. Things that army books that have sources. Games Workshop is very hard on us. Anyway, the next DLC will be Norsca. And Norsca is like also one of those things that Norsca is synonymous with the Warriors of Chaos. It's just where they come from, right? Like Norsca is a very diverse chaos. Warriors of Chaos are very diverse lore wise, and Norsca is just like a part of it, but they don't have like their own army or anything like that.
Yeah, so I'm excited that Norsca's getting relooked because they are quite a large part of the game, really. They do tend to get tied up with the sort of like the Chaos Warriors and stuff, being allied with them. So it's nice to see them finally getting an update. I genuinely didn't think it would happen. I'm very, very pleased that it is.
Still waiting on my vampire counts. Any day now, they're going to be the third faction, definitely.
They got Graveguard with halberdiers. I don't know halberds. I don't know what you want. That's pretty much perfectly rounded.
I always like that. The reason why we didn't get Graveguards with shields and halberds, because that's like exists on tabletop from what I know, is that then nobody would like get anything else.
It's so stupid, isn't it?
I can't believe
they did finally get it.
I can't believe the Empire doesn't have an end game like shielded infantry. It's just great swords who are like really good if you can get them into melee, but if you can't and they get shot. And halberds, which are the same but are a little bit better at defending in melee.
You got state troops. I mean, to be fair, that's exactly what the Empire had. I don't think they had any better infantry, to be honest. I think it was just state troops.
I don't know. So yes, Norsca. So we got the guy and the Nightmare, which is that. Am I saying that right? Is it Nightmare? Is it Night? Something else? Since I can't say.
Yeah, it's like the big chaos spawny boy.
So like we see the little tease.
It's the other wizards that get thrown into here.
It seems like sales like, lads, I found this weird magical thing. Do you want to come have a look? And he gathers his buds and they go have a look. And then it's like, haha, JK. Morphs him into a big blob of wizard. So that'll be interesting to see how that works. If it'll be a magical thing or if it'll just be a big blob of magic damage. Surely I'll have some spells.
They should have seen this coming, to be fair. If you had a friend called Jake the Complete Bastard, you wouldn't follow him if he'd gone, I've just found this cool thing over here. Shall we all go and have a look? You'd be like, no, Jake, not what happened last time. Fuck off, mate.
It's always like the bad guy names, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, hey, I didn't really believe in this guy. What's his name? Skeletor? Okay.
He seems like a chill guy.
Yeah.
And then we also got not some footage, but some concept art. I think it was the Famir Noble, which I believe will be more of a melee battling Famir, which, sure, I like the Bale Fiends.
I genuinely love the Famir, mostly because they were probably the coolest mini from Hero Quest.
I like Famir. Honestly, I like them in my armies. I sometimes prefer those over a War Mammoth because they're a lot smaller.
They've got a lore problem, though, because their old lore, they were a little bit... Well, yeah. So they've been a little bit cautious about bringing them back, but I was glad to see they did get brought back.
Was it one of those classic old bits of lore that is no longer acceptable?
It's one of those lores where it's like, this is maybe too much edginess. It doesn't need to be like that.
That sounds
like when nice. Edgy, there's edgy, and then there's oh my fucking god, why kind of
like, levels. You didn't need to do this.
Yeah, it's the kind of stuff that really only exists in Rule 34.
Oh
Is it
my!
Rule 34?
I'll get the full
this,
details when we're off the air.
I don't know if it's retcon or just not talked about anymore.
I think it's been retconned because I think previously they didn't have female Famir, and now they do because they're mentioned. So I mean, they've had a bit of a lore problem, but it's nice to see they're being brought back a little bit more sanitized.
I mean, like Femur is always one of those. I'm kind of like, I kind of feel with the Chaos Gods. I'm like, I don't really care about Femurs anymore, honestly. Looks.
But they're so cool.
Are they though?
I like them in battle. Not in lore. I like them in the battle. I don't read lore. That's for nerds.
And we've also got the Chimera.
Yes, 3-headed beast. Hopefully it's not just a reskinned Feral Manticore, because by God, everyone has that unit and I hate it. Hopefully it actually does something. I'm sure.
Well, the Manticore's fine if you get summoning him in from the Amber.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Extra unit.
When you're like, oh good, now go and eat this guy over here. Just keep him busy for a minute. But did you hear they had a little jape about the fact that the mocap for the is it Dreadmore or whatever his name, the Chaos Spawn, it would have been hard with all the arms.
Yeah.
And my mind immediately went to the human centipede, and I was like,
Jesus.
I mean, it could be done. I mean,
so the Norsca's also getting reworks to their existing mechanics. The monster hunts are being expanded. This is the only one we get details on, and it's literally just like, we're going to get more monster hunts, which, good news. Will they work? That is my main question. Because honestly, at this point, it's a legacy feature that they don't work. So I feel like if they make them perfectly functional, it'll take the essence out of Norsca. And then, alongside that, everything else is getting reworked, so we don't really get any details. So their Dark Allegiance thing, where you ally yourself with the gods, and the other one, whatever that is, can't remember. What is it?
This line with the gods, monster hunts, taking cities with technology.
That might be it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the problem with mechanics like the monster hunts is that it's almost like give you something to aim for to do while you're bored.
Yeah.
But at higher difficulty levels, you're almost never bored because people are trying to ram their armies down your throat. So finding the time or the spare resources to send someone off on a little jolly is actually really hard.
Yeah. I like a multi-stage quest, but it's a lot of resources to spend just walking someone around the map, and then you have to teleport your most likely most powerful army away and put it out of action for at least a turn. It's one of
those things where I like the idea of a structured narrative to follow with an army, but you need to let me do that. And if you're constantly throwing your armies at my woefully undefended, unwalled settlements because I live in Norsca, I'm never going to have the time to do that. So the only ones I'm going to do are going to be unless I can teleport to them, in which case, great. Or alternatively, if I happen to be dominating, in which case I don't really need that reward because I've already won effectively.
Yeah. I always liked the idea of when you do the monster hunt, you get the monsters to fight for you. When you complete a monster hunt, it's just like, here's some gold and an item. I'm always just like, I don't care. I'd rather have the units. So I hope they'll lean a bit more into that. Because I always liked the idea of Norsca being like monster hunters and monster tamers, even if that isn't what they strictly are. Oops.
Yeah.
I mean, they do stuff for strictly for, the gods most of the time. So whatever they would honor the gods more, but they do definitely have pets along a lot. But unfortunately, most of the monsters, pets, stuff like that is some old chieftain that's been mutated more than he should have been, and is now mainly just a gurgling monster man.
Sounds like a charmer.
Yeah, but it sounds good. I'm happy that they're revisiting Norsca. I like the idea of sale. I think this is going to be like the last DLC where you had a button. I'm going to call Gorbad Ironclaw a no-name character here, but he's not one of the big draws, and I think this is the problem. I think we're going to come out that DLC just going, yeah, that was fine, and just like the last DLC, it was okay, it was fine.
I mean, I think they messed up with Gorbad just not making him look cooler, because I think that's the big problem. Like he should have had like the big like glove and stuff like that, like Hellboy, and he just looks cooler, because right now he doesn't look cool.
No,
so he just becomes
like a big
annoying.
Warboss in red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the problem, because even Gorst looks like weirder with his, a little bit more raggedy stuff than a normal necromancer, and the corpse card and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously I don't read the lore. I don't really care about the lore, if I'm quite honest. Like, to me, it's just about, does the character look cool, and is the like mechanics fun? So if they nail that, like, Elspeth, I mean, she looks kind of cool, but she's just like a lady with a bald cap on, really. And she has like the coolest mechanics of a DLC in recent memory, and the gameplay is absolutely so much fun. And that's it.
I think it helped that the Empire's a very popular faction.
Well, yeah, obviously.
She also gets an amethyst dragon as well, which helps.
She gets cool stuff. Gorbad, he gets on his big hog, and that's it. And then he's
you
just
can almost
a guy.
have him in an army and forget he exists, to be honest.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, even going through the other Greenskin Lords, and of course we're getting off topic, what do you expect? Like, you go through anyone else, it's like Grimgar has his gigantic axe, and yeah, he's not fast, but that guy is a monster in melee. You have Azhag, who I believe can he get a dragon, or is it a wyvern?
It's a wyvern.
And can cast the Law of Death, which makes him cool. Scarsnake can sneak around. Granted, he's not the most
Carmine
exciting.
dragon, by the way, not. I was like, no, wait, that's not amethyst dragon.
You stupid.
don't want to be lore accurate. Yeah,
Stupid
I know.
man.
Stupid habits.
Yes. Skarsnik might not have the most exciting battle thing, but he can sneak around. And then Wurzag, savage guy who dances around. That's rad. And then the other one, Grom on his thing.
On his chariot, yeah. And again, I think Grom was quite a well-known character because he was. I mean, he wasn't actually in the box set, but he was the basis of one of the Warhammer editions. He came with a bunch of goblins and high elves, and you got like a cardboard cutout of Grom, so like people knew who Grom was, in the same way they knew who Eltharion was.
So yeah, folks, if you're listening to this, let us know in the comments. Do you care if a character's known, or do you just care about gameplay, or do you just care if they look cool? Let us know in the comments. Be interesting to see, because it seems we're divided on this one. Yes, please please comment. Tell me your favorite flavor of cheese. I need to know.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hit that bell. And is there anything else? Give me all your money, please.
And so if we take the leak as true, and we get Aeslin the Sea Lord, who is of course a high elf legendary lord, what would we expect to see from him?
Sea elf.
I mean,
naval battles.
Fuck no.
Yeah, sure. Just add in that as well.
Yeah, just like one of the last DLCs that it seems like, and I'll come back to this in a bit for Warhammer 3, just add naval battles. Just like, fuck it. They're just like complete dog ass, but they're never coming back, so why fix it?
That's one of the things that I always like boggles my mind, where people want sea battles. Well, they have no idea like how the scope of that is. Like somebody said, like, oh, if they ever do like 40k, they should add in like the entire like battle fleet Gothic as well.
Yeah,
I was like, you understand the battle fleet Gothic is its own, it's a game in its own, like that's like a hard thing to make is the entire game. You just want to add in like all the Warhammer things and the naval battles as well.
They've already got effectively 2 games, haven't they? Yeah. They've got the campaign map, and then they've got the battles. That's effectively 2. And then they go, let's make a 3rd one, because why not?
Because even though the campaign map isn't like, Paradox level, it's still like a decent game just having the campaign map.
I mean, there are people that I mostly for speed video making reasons at this point, but like I just auto resolve everything that I can. I very rarely will do a manual battle these days because I'm just like speed running to blast through a campaign.
But no, I since I'm a streamer, I'm like I'll zoom in a lot and try to make this look cool. So because otherwise it's like it's not fun to watch.
No,
that's what I do. I mean,
I like the monkey have to dance.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, you do something different, and Fred's obviously streaming, and I have been rated doing pretty good by Legend of Total War. So I mean,
congratulations on that one.
Thank you very much. Thanks, big dog. If you could see my YouTube back end, you want to put me in that tier, believe me.
Likewise.
Monsters, you just like messaged me and it was just like a graph of your analytics and just like a straight line down. I was like,
No.
yeah, same. This DLC, this drow is fucking killing me.
Yeah, thanks, YouTube. YouTube.
Yeah, last of the Norsca things, aside from the racial reworks to get us back on track, Wulfric and Throg, again, individual reworks of their own, thank God. I love what they did with the Empire, like I've been making a guide for them, which will come out after this. So subscribe. And, all the Empire Lords, with the exception of Elspeth and Karl, share no mechanics, and I love that. And I don't mind if Norsca shares some mechanics, but as long as each one has something unique, so there's a reason to play them. Perfect. So Wulfric, this is something we've been saying. They're stealing our ideas. We need to start filing copyrights or whatever's patents. That was it. Seafang is again a campaign mechanic, and presumably it's going to allow them to transport around a little bit more. So as we said, my door. As we said, as Fred does this, you'll be able to have your men go out and build a swimming pool the size of Seafang in Altdorf, and then you'll be able to teleport to it. We can only assume.
Nice. I genuinely heard that and I thought, oh, Fred's going to be so happy with that.
Yeah, we'll do a brief cut here and then come back when Fred gets back. See what we want to talk about.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Cut.
Fred's back.
Yeah. Sorry, that doesn't happen very often. I have somebody at my door. The traps usually get them before.
The cat just went, whoa.
They normally fall into my moat and my punji sticks.
Okay, well, but where were we? So what did we say?
Wulfric's getting his rework, and it's going to be something to do with Seafang, and hopefully allowing him to transport around the map, which is pretty much exactly what we said.
Yeah,
you said,
but like that's just what they need. Like, see, if he's like the dude who actually teleports around, right? Like he just jumps on his boat, he travels through the warp, and then out wherever he wants to, as long as it's like a body of water, right? How big the body of water needs to be? Can it be like a really big pool or something like that? I don't know. Well, who knows?
Is it going to surprise you in your bath? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, in the end times, he does really cool stuff as well. Like that's one of my favorite things, where he teleports basically his boat to impale a giant dragon in a battle. And just imagine like some crazy dude in a storm is teleporting, and like this boat's coming out from like the sky. He's just holding off the mast in a thunderstorm and like just laughing. Like, you didn't see this coming, did you, dragon bastard? He's like impaling.
Can you imagine being the general of that army, and you've got like, my dragon will win, and then you see this lunatic like smash a boat through its neck, and you're like, what the fuck
coming out of one of those portals from 40K, like, basically. It's like, and they're like, oh no. It's just, but I think, yeah, that boat is goddamn glorious and super duper cool. Really hope we get to see. I'm just happy we're getting us to travel around with.
I'd quite
so many dudes who have teleportation now, and the dude who actually has teleportation does damage.
I would quite like to see his battle use of it get reworked, because it's a canoe. It's literally just a canoe that sails through people and does no damage. How cool would it be to have him like on a boat mount, and like the people at the front are just like throwing this won't happen, throwing pails of water so that it can stay moving because it's allowed on any body of water.
It was technically, like, it's just the figurehead that's actually like blessed by the gods, so they can travel through the warp. So like you can technically like expand the boat and stuff like that. At one point he lands in is it Cathik, I think. Because he gets tricks into fighting there, and then him and his warband just get demolished by sea guards and stuff like that, and like the defending armies. They're like, how did this barbarian man get into our island? And like everything, like boat gets smashed up and everything like that. And him and his lieutenants basically is holding on to like the figurehead, just traveling traveling home.
Can you imagine? Like, so the Chaos Gods turn up. They're like, right, we're gonna we're gonna bless your figurehead. It's like, right, okay. So you can appear in any body of water. What, like a duck pond? And the Chaos God's like, can he go into... yeah, sure, why not? You go, what about like a puddle? What if the water is evaporating? And they're like, oh, for fuck's sake, I don't know. No, we didn't really think this through, okay? We just...
What, a cloud? That's water. He knows.
I think it has to be like...
The water cycle is known in Norsca. It's taught in schools.
Eventually, like, Scene just comes up with like little terms and conditions, like it has to be able to cover this much of the boat's bottom, okay? That's it.
What about moisture in the air? Like, fuck off.
God, that'd be such a we like someone that is much more talented than us needs to do like an animated skit of that.
Dude, I was reading like a fanfic about how the Doomslayer from Doom would do in Warhammer World. And basically, he would just get trapped in a corn realm at some point.
Yeah.
And just Corn would just be like, this is the most awesome thing I've ever seen. And then like Doom guy would just like look through the veil and just look Corn right in the eye. And Corn would just like they just take down the blinds, just like, no one can see it. And then he would just break in to fight Corn. Because that's Doomslayer lore accurate.
Probably, yeah.
He's a badass.
Colin would be like, would
His
you
lore
like
is
to be one of my
actually insane. I love
champions?
that
And Doomslayer's like,
Nope.
He was like, it wouldn't even ever spawn. It would just be like, it's DACA time.
I need to play Doom 2016 again. That game is badass.
Dude, the lore for it is just so insane as well. It's really like, he's such a broken character lore-wise. This is so fun, I think.
Yeah, they just put no limits on him, did they? He's just I remember in the newest game, he's just like the golden guys are like, we're going to put him in stasis, and he breaks out of that and then just starts like punching the wall. And they're like, I think we'll let him out then.
Yeah. I just enjoy the lore. It's like in Dark Ages, you see the imps are much taller and stronger and slower. And then in 2016, like after that, they're much smaller because he's killed all the big ones. All the small, agile ones survived him being in hell. Like he killed so much in hell that they like had to drop a temple on him. And that's like in 2016 is like when he wakes up from having the temple and buried so that everybody could flee hell because they wouldn't want to be exterminated.
It's like demon Darwinism, isn't it? He's killed all the big slow ones, just the little ones are.
It just shows that Doomslayer and Gotrek would probably be best friends.
Oh my god, what a team up!
Because that's the same thing. Like Gotrek is kills for millennia in the Chaos realm, and eventually there's like open portals, like a bird being stuck in the house. There's open windows. You just hope he goes out.
I could just imagine like feeling Gotrek like ripping and tearing alongside the Doomslayer, and there's just Felix making notes, tears streaming down his face. It's so beautiful. They're doing so good.
Nah, Book Felix would just have tears streaming because he would be so scared being in hell. I don't want. Can we leave? We've been here so long, and they're just like killing. And Godric is looking back like, give up.
So have we finished discussing the DLC then? Should we move on to?
There's a couple of last little bits, but not very much. So, Wolfric and Throg get new voice lines, which I'm sure you guys will be happy about because Throg, please make him smarter.
Yeah.
The Slaanesh rework, the only bit that I could ascertain was cults becoming more useful.
Nice.
Great.
They used to be the best cults, but now they're the worst cults.
Are they? I mean,
well, not maybe worse, but they're.
I really like the Slaanesh mechanic of being able to like undermine and subsume like human and elf factions into becoming your vassals. I love that stuff. I think that's great. It's such a fresh way of playing the game.
And then the only other part I have is no release date because obviously, but presumably at this point I would guess maybe the end of summer, so maybe like August, which that's a big DLC gap.
Which is the third faction you guys think?
I think it's gonna be High Elves.
Yeah, given that leak by what's his face.
Yeah.
Like Steve the Unreliable has proven to be true.
You laughed at me when I brought it up on the podcast.
Like his only other post was a leak that was proven to be incorrect. Berated me.
I had to sit here and withstand the pure hatred and vitriol.
We all. I mean, because it was like people were giving him a kicking in Reddit, weren't they? Were giving him a kicking in the comments, and I mean, some of the stuff he was saying was completely out there. Like when he said that the Monkey King was going to have his own faction, I was like, well, that's just bollocks. They're not going to make one legendary lord with one faction. That seems like a lot of work for. But with I mean, the fact that he said Sail, and I cannot believe for a second that someone would have guessed that, because it's just not a faction that people would have guessed. Like you would have said something like Boris Todbringer or something, because that's something people want. That would make more sense. Sail the Faithless is so out there because he's a very big character.
Sail is definitely one that's been mentioned a lot for Norsca, I feel.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard him a couple of times. But if it's not high elves, I would have loved to see a dark elf one. Like dark elves need some love, and they really need like some high end monster and check out like caravans, but black arcs, and just get those slave raids going and stuff like that. That would be so cool.
One more thing. Where do you think Sail's going to start? I would guess up in the Dark Elves, because there is some Norsca there. It's the only place that I can imagine. Because if you have like all 3 legendary lords in that top band above the Empire, I think it'll just be too busy.
They have no they have no rhyme or reason where they put him in. It's going to be by the Lost Ericsson tribe.
It'll be in Lustria probably. Why not?
Yeah, Lustria or yeah, because the other 2 like starts right next to each other.
Yeah.
If he starts there as well, that would be like, I mean, that kind maybe they'll do that because they did cram all the Chaos dudes up in the north as well.
Well, they did say they were
reworking kind of like accurate, I guess.
The Confederation system as well, which I just remembered right now. So maybe, they'll have more close.
But their Confederation system works kind of well for Norsca.
I like Tribal Confederation. Any faction that has it, I think it's fun.
Yeah, you just fight the leader and that's it.
Yeah.
Yep, I like that because
I mean, that's also Warriors of Chaos in a nutshell as well. It's always like, oh, this is a Beastman tribe, and like a Chaos champion in armor just comes around. It's like, nah, this is my war herd now, and like a big mind is nah, and then they fight, and the Chaos champion's like, this is my war herd now, and everybody's like, yeah, so your war herd now.
Yeah, I like it. I think it works for the Greenskins. I think it works for Norsca.
Ogres
and it makes some interesting map changes as well.
I think the Ogres have it now as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do actually. Yeah. So again, I mean, I've had it where you've got Throg with one settlement, Wulfric with the rest of Norsca, and then the next turn suddenly Throg owns everything because he's fought a battle against Wulfric and won, and now he owns everything, which I think is actually quite interesting.
The last bit from the video that I mean, it's worth mentioning is that a lot of the people that we know from Warhammer 3 team, like I think even Sean wasn't there. He's moved on to something else. We had like a whole team of basically people from Sofia that worked on Pharaoh and things before, and Pharaoh didn't do well, but from what you guys said, it was actually a good game. So I'm not like worried that they're not going to do a good job. Wonder what the old team is up to. New release for the game.
I know some comments will also be like, why don't they stream it more then? It's because like Troy and Pharaoh and stuff like that are good games, but if the viewers aren't there, you can't just stream and make content about it because that's not viable at a certain point. Also, it's not infinitely good, but they are good regardless.
I think I wouldn't be making endless videos on Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 if there was an audience for it. No one cares. Right.
It is how it is.
Shall we move on to Skulls?
Yes.
So this is going to be a bit more quickfire. I've made a brief list of the things that got announced that weren't mobile games because who cares? There was one trailer that was really cool, and I was like, "Wow, this looks neat." And then it was a mobile game and it's cards. I'm like, "You bastards!"
Was it? What was it?
I can't remember.
Oh yeah, the one with the taxes with the Imperial Guards, was this or something?
Yeah.
It was the one where it was like the world map, and it was like, we cut off the orcs at this area.
Because the voice guy, he does like voices for on Twitter as well, right? I can't remember his name but he's really good at it. So it's fun to see him actually do actual Warhammer promos now.
Yeah, there was a particular scene where you had exploded tanks rolling across, backed up by infantry, and I was like, "This looks so cool! It's going to be a mobile game. It's going to be a shitty mobile game, isn't it?" It's like, yes, it's going to be a shitty mobile game.
So upset. I was like, "This looks like a weapon to surpass Total War," and then it's a fucking mobile game. I hate that.
Nope. Here's a shitty mobile game for you.
But you know what isn't a shitty mobile game? The new game from Owlcat. It's another CRPG.
Yes.
Dark Heresy. Which
looks so cool.
I need to play Rogue Trader. I think I might put it on my list for what to play next.
I loved Rogue Trader.
Rogue Trader was fun.
The end was rushed, but
you can
what
say
a
literally
hell of a
every
ride.
RPG.
Isn't it? I was thinking this when I was thinking over doing this podcast in the shower. I was like, obviously Rogue Trader. I was like, going to say that the Rogue Trader does have a rush, but it's like every RPG has a rush.
Yeah, but Owlcat is very good at like doing the last couple of acts, like not that good. Because I remember streaming it, and it's like first act of Rogue Trader took like 2 or 3 days, something like that.
Yeah,
like not even that. And like second act takes like a week or something. But then the third act is done in a day. Yeah. And I had to like restart it once as well. And the fourth act is also done in like a day, and the fifth act as well. And it's
There's
like
5?
So crazy.
There's 5 acts.
Yeah,
There's 3 act structure.
Good, though.
I think even the fourth and fifth act are like watched on the same day or something. It's they're so fast. Like the second act is easily the best one. It's so much fun, like exploring the world really and doing those things.
Because that's the one where you're sort of like traveling around trying to reunite your trading empire, isn't it?
Yeah.
And well, it's been out for ages. Like get on board. But because it's that exploration bit, and because it's that sort of like you're building up stuff that you find, and it's really, and you run into some really cool stuff, like not even stuff that's like involved in the main quest, just like side bits. You just run. There's that particular one where this is going to be spoilers.
Give me a signal.
Where you run into the gene stealers, and you have to escape them. And I thought, I was so hoping that was going to go somewhere, and it wasn't. It was just like a one-off bit. Okay, you can come back now.
I'm really looking forward to the next DLC though for Rogue Trader. I'm gonna replay that one. I've photoshopped like a picture of 40k assassin with Dennis Reynolds' face from Always Always Sunny or Glenn Howerton. I'm just gonna roleplay as like Dennis becoming a Rogue Trader, which will just be like heresy.
I did like role playing my Rogue Trader. It was so much fun just being an absolute arse. I had the big fat commissar guy, and I just played a complete arsehole Imperial noble, just going around going, yes, well of course I am super important and you're poor, so therefore you should die. And
come Lord, attack them.
and yet I ended up maybe starting a romance with not the character you would have expected. Semi-accidentally. Yeah, I can't remember what's the Dark Elder name?
Oh, Malka or something.
Yeah, that guy. I accidentally may have started banging him accidentally.
Accidentally.
Genuinely.
I accidentally started banging this guy. I just don't know how it happened.
He was like, "Can I go and hunt people on your ship?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, we can replace them, no biggie." And then suddenly it comes up with a little achievement at the bottom going, "A romance started." I was like, "Oh no!" And then I was like, "Well, in for a penny, in for a pound." And before you know it, we're in bed together.
All the romance stuff was broken in my first playthrough because so much stuff was broken.
No.
Like Argantus quest line just didn't work. Like the romance with Eldari just didn't work. And it's just tons of stuff like that. It wasn't like that I failed. It's just that when you clicked on the things, you could just click on them infinitely and they would just never happen anything. But anyway, they're making Dark Heresy.
Yeah, what
is
Dark Heresy?
You're playing as an Inquisitor. So that means that you can play with a little bit more of a ragtag bunch as well. I guess like a rogue trader as well, but you also have like a Kroot with you, it seems.
Damneders, do you know what an Inquisitor is?
Isn't it like someone that hunts chaos?
Well, you've kind of got
Depending
the
on the order,
Imperium like as a sort of entity, and the Inquisitors can basically do whatever the fuck they like. And they almost like police themselves, because some Inquisitors go a little bit crazy, go a little bit mad, and so they might go, "We're going to fight chaos by worshipping chaos," and the other Inquisitors go, and then you might have like beef between Inquisitors, but effectively they're all powerful. They can go down to a planet and go like, "Yeah, I'm taking over here," and there's nothing you can say about it.
So even in Rogue Traders are ridiculously powerful, but some Inquisitors will be able to say like, "Nah, man, this is stepping too far." So they are like the secret police, the secret not secret police of Warhammer 40k.
Yeah, if you're in charge of a planet, you do not want someone slapping out the inquisitorial seal, because you know you're going to be in a world of hurt regardless.
But even though like Rogue Traders also like you have to be pretty well up there with Inquisitors to be like able to go say anything to a Rogue Trader. But yeah.
So it's going to give you an extra level of I can do whatever the hell I like, which is
because Rogue Traders are basically people who are in charge and control planets, so they're not even planetary governors. They can go in and just say like, "You're the planetary governor now," I guess, rule several planets and have the massive wealth of that as well. That's why in Rogue Trader you don't even have money, right? So like you don't even care about it. It's like, just buy everything here.
One of the things I liked is you just don't have money. You just take what you like.
Yeah. Because money in that level just doesn't matter at all, which is super funny.
You don't need to spend 20 credits on a las gun when you can buy entire crates of las guns for.
Yeah, so we're getting new DLCs. New next season pass was made for Rogue Trader as well.
Imperialis is the latest expansion. Seems like you're going to be doing a lot of Emperor related adjacent things.
Yeah, it's an arbiter, right? You're following, which is also just a cop, basically, not an inquisitor, but a cop. So that's going to be cool. Gets a little cyber dog and cyber eagle and stuff. But Dark Heresy is the big news anyway, because that's a completely new game.
Yeah. Speaking of arbiters, I'm just going to kind of jump ahead here. We got a Dark Tide new class, which is the arbiter, and it has a really cool trailer. But when he like steps into the light, immediately I was like, "That's RoboCop." It looks like RoboCop. It like has the helmet and the red visor, and he's got a dog, which is rad.
It's just because you're too young to remember Judge Dredd.
Yeah, because a lot of early 40k is very much just basically Judge Dredd.
Yeah,
it's just basically that, because Judge Dredd was what's the who?
1977 or something.
Stallone was Judge Dredd.
I'm trying to remember the name of the company that sort of like created Judge Dredd, and I can't remember the name now, but 40k drew so much.
I think the guy who owns Rebellion now owns the rights to Judge Dredd.
It was 2000 AD, I think it was the comic that had Judge Dredd in it. But if you look at a lot of the really the early, I'm going to use Rogue Trader, but it's not the game. It's like the first Warhammer 40k version. If you look at a lot of the art from that, it's very heavily Judge Dredd, and so the Arbiters are basically Judge Dredd. Like there's very little difference between them.
I will be interested to see how a dog AI that is friendly works in Dark Tide.
Probably special things with despawns all the time.
Yeah, I imagine it might be a tiny bit jank, but we'll see. But I mean, I like hop into Dark Tide every year or so. Like I hopped on either last year or a little bit further to check out the rework that they've done, and it's fun. It just needs some more replay value. I don't find it as exciting as Vermintide. If they give it that like Realms of Chaos roguelike game mode, then I'd probably be pretty into it. But yeah, new class, although it's paid, which is to be expected with a Tide game. I think was it like $14, something like that, £10.
It's not too bad.
It's not horrific.
It's not horrendous.
Darktide is such a weird game because they literally like released a $40 game and it didn't feel like a real game, and then it took like a year to feel like almost a full game, and it still doesn't feel like a full game.
Yeah,
it's a slightly weird one.
I remember when we were all playing the beta and we're like, wow, this is like cool. I can't wait for this to be finished. And then it came out and it was just the exact same, and we're like, oh,
yeah.
But there's a cash shop. Oh, God, they just like turbo nuked their reputation. It was expertly done, I must say. But they just seem to be doing a little bit better now. But moving on.
Yeah.
If we're ready to move on.
Blood Bowl 3 got a new season.
Yep,
people play Blood Bowl. All the 24 people. Blood Bowl is one of those games that have such beautiful models, but dang, that game is not for me.
Yeah.
I had to give it a real try.
Again, the cosmetics thing really turned me off them. Was not a fan of how they did that.
Well, how did they do this? I'm out of the loop a tiny bit.
Oh, I'm trying to remember now. So basically, they said something like they were going to do cosmetics. So cosmetics were single use only.
What?
And I think they may have changed it now, but I think I'm trying to remember. So I might get this wrong, so I hold my hands up. But basically, they were going to do cosmetic packs that you could buy. They were single use only, so you could get like, I don't know, like a arm with a bracer or something, and you could put it on one guy once, and then you'd have to buy. Yeah, it was like, it did not go down very well, and I think they might have changed it. Oh, it's so fucking weird. I can only think it was probably a publisher choice, because it felt like something created around a board table.
I'm assuming you could buy these with real life money.
Of course, yeah. Oh yeah. You could buy Blood Bowl bucks, and then you could spend the Blood Bowl bucks on cosmetic packs that you could get one of, and then it was garbage.
Wow.
So
whatever executive thought of that, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Basically, it was so reprehensible that after playing some Blood Bowl, getting an early access to Blood Bowl and playing Blood Bowl, and going, this is really good. And then finding out their cosmetic plans, I then had to create another video basically going, this is bullshit and you shouldn't play it, which I almost never like. I don't tend to do that kind of thing, but it was just so egregious that I was like, I can't. So I haven't looked at Blood Bowl since. And
those that publisher is so weird, Nacon, because they will do like game. If you check like their game list, it's like mainly mixed stuff, and then you got stuff like RoboCop, like people really like that, or Garden Life Cozy Simulator. But otherwise, they do stuff that is very much mixed, and then with a couple of hits here and there.
It feels
also one of my favorite games, Werewolf, Apocalypse, Earthblood.
That sounds rad. Is this like a controversial opinion that I feel like the majority of games should have mixed reviews?
No, I think Steam reviews are a binary system anyway. It's like either you recommend it or not.
Yeah, there are a lot of games that I would give like a 5 out of 10. And like, there's not really a score for that. It's not, I don't really recommend it. I don't not recommend it. It's just, it's fine.
Yeah, I do believe that Steam scores can be directly translated to a 1 to 10 score most of the time, though. Because it's like Blood Bowl. It has, let's see here, 57. That means that it's like, if you just translate it to that, we round up, it's a 6 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
5 out of 10 is like, 5 is average. That is like, it's not bad, it's not good. Some people will enjoy this. It's that easy, right?
I suppose it does break down to like, if you just do it to that, it's like 6 out of 10 people will probably like this. Yeah.
And, if it's like a 4, it's not a good game, but some people like this. If it's a 3, not many people like this and, go for it. And like 1 is like as bad as a game gets.
If it's 1, then it's BattleBit Remastered because it got abandoned by the devs.
I mean, like even BattleBit Remastered will have like people playing it, right?
That game
but like I definitely believe that it's like, this is a 90% game. Oh yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 game, and it's just like that.
Speaking of
I believe it.
Potential 9 out of 10 game, Bolt Gun. Maybe not 9 out of 10, but it's pretty fun. I didn't complete it, but I did enjoy the bits that I played. It's getting a Typing of the Dead free
It's already
update.
there.
It's
so
there.
funny that they have that. So funny. I love that.
It's a bit of a weird. I'm not like against it. It just seems like a bit of a bizarre choice. Because to me, those typing games, like the immediate first thing I thought was like, well, like surely people use these typing games to learn a language because that's useful, or like learn to type faster. And if you want to learn to type faster, whilst as monsters put in this image saying "prepare for the worst," then you can do that, and that's fun.
I just like there's a little Night Lord there just going, prepare for the worst. It's like, he's a little depressed Night Lord. Sad.
But the bigger Bolgun news, of course, Bolgun 2, which is coming, which great news. Bolgun 1 was fun. Fred can't watch him.
Yeah, it's just kind of mayhem, isn't it? It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I think Bolgun is just good fun.
Bolgun is really one of those things that is canon, but still they don't take themselves too seriously. Because what is it called? Malayan Cato, and he's like one of the most powerful space marines by far in the that exist. I just think that's so goddamn funny.
The one thing I didn't like about Bolgun, I just kept getting lost. Maybe this is just me being an old person and losing my sense of direction, but I was just like, all these hallways look the same to me. I got lost so many times. And I just spent like 20 minutes walking around shooting nothing, which was not fun.
I mean, that's kind of like how those older boomer shooters worked back in the day. Like, I remember when I was like 13 or something like that, I was playing Duke Nukem 3D on Nintendo 64. And I was on one level where no one was even alive for 30 minutes. And it ended with me like calling Club Nintendo, which was a thing we had. It was like $7 or $10 per year. And you could just call in anytime you wanted for video game help. I was like, can't find where I'm supposed to go. It's like, what level are you on? It's like, I don't know. It's like, okay, what do you see in front of you? A trash can. Oh no. And they're like, okay, if you look to your left, what do you see then? I see more trash cans. I'm like, okay, I know exactly where you are now.
That is so rad that was once a job.
Yeah.
Like sit there and answer calls. I'm like, yeah, I'm a gaming expert. I can help you out, toots.
Yeah, and it was like all games on the Nintendo as well. And it's just like one level in Duke Nukem 3D. It was so funny. I remember even back in those days, I was like, bang, this is worth the mom and dad's money. Super worth.
Yeah.
Speaking of 2, we're getting a Mechanicus. Well, we know we're getting Mechanicus 2, but we've got a little bit of gameplay. Looks cool. That's it. That's all I can say on that.
And you're going to be able to play Necrons and Votan, apparently.
Sweet. I love Mechanicus. Mechanicus was such a good game.
I love the devs. I didn't play Mechanicus too much. So my really funny Mechanicus story, well, I would say really funny, but that's like actually overhyping it a little bit. But the developers were so nice to me, like some PR company or whatever. So they got me like press access to like a really early alpha that I could, stream and stuff. And it was like fairly exclusive at the time. So I would like play it for like 5 hours or something like that. They were like, yeah, let's go nuts. Played for like 5 hours. It was like super cool. Obviously it was like made for journal stuff. Yeah, so a lot of stuff was unlocked and you just like got through it. Then it crashed. And I was like, oh, this is so early alpha. They don't actually have autosave here. And I hadn't like saved either. I was like, well, that's cool. I just never played it again. But the developers have a very close, has a very dear place in my heart.
Yeah, no, Mechanicus is genuinely a great game. It's got great characters. I still remember the really sassy old almost completely Mechanicus adept guy who just drops shade on everyone else whenever he has to talk to them, which I just love. And the fact that Mechanicus 2, great, love it. One more.
Vermintide 2 also getting new levels, new versus mode and stuff like that. Versus mode has already been out, right? But Verminous Dreams is coming out at least.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
That's cool.
I like Vermintide.
Vermintide 2 is just that game that keeps going, isn't it?
It continues to outdo Darktide miraculously. I think I just like fantasy more as well, to be honest. I much prefer to shoot a bow than to shoot a gun.
I think Darktide has better gameplay, but less gameplay.
Yeah.
Because it's just so, since you don't have like real class, it kind of becomes that everyone becomes slightly the same except for the Ogryn.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, like, and the Psyker obviously, but then you actually just have like 3 classes really.
Like the best weapon for like most people is like the axe, and then just one. I don't really care, just one of the guns. But like whenever I was playing, I was like, right, so I'm playing as the mage guy, so I'm going to use the magical sword, and I'm going to use force lightning, and I'm going to use a flame-throwing staff because that's cool. But he's just like sacrificing on goodness to play with coolness, whereas in Vermintide, it's like, well, everyone has their unique set of weapons. So I'm going to go with a flail because that's badass, and a blunderbuss, and no one else has that.
Yeah, it's also one of those things that Vermintide had like the 5 classes, and all of them had like two different play styles. Was it 3 or something? So basically, you had like, was it 2 from the get-go, or was it 3?
It was 3 when I came to it, but I came to it late.
I think about at least 2, right? So you had 10 classes ready to play straight away. And in like Darktide, you had, what was it, 4?
Yeah.
And 2 of those played basically like very similarly.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
I mean, the rework to Darktide has made it a bit more differentiated. Once you get into the skill trees, you can kind of carve out your own class, but you know.
But that took some time.
Yeah, that is pretty much just for the skills and the stats rather than the guns and the stuff that you can use. So
yes. One thing that did not take its time though, and it's actually quite fast, is Speed Freaks that is getting
played this
it's released now
in the beta, and I didn't get it. I just didn't.
Yeah, I played in the beta and it was janky as shit.
I just drove around and exploded, and I know that's probably the point, but I didn't really understand what I was
just
supposed
because
to do.
It's like a Battlefield game, right? Like when you get a new Battlefield game, you're like, oh, this is gonna be fun, and then you're like, you walk outside a starting zone, immediately die, and then you like start learning a little bit, and then you like get to the house wall, and you're like, I'm gonna make it, and then you die. It like keeps on going like that. And after a while, you start surviving a little bit more and getting better, because it is like vehicle combat Battlefield, basically, still.
I mean, you know, I might give it another try. But
everyone who got into the beta, by the way, they actually converted to like the full game. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay $16. But that's like just a cool guy move, I thought.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Hopefully they've made it a bit more, make a bit more sense, because the trailer looks really cool. And I'm like, wow, I wish I could do that instead of just driving and then exploding and not really understanding why.
Warhammer 40k Supremacy is what the game that looked really cool was, but was actually a free-to-play game. Was
that one that broke my little heart. It looked so badass. I was like, well, planetary land warfare with lasers, and then you see like the lightning strike or whatever, and then you can see like tanks and chaos come towards you, and then it's like, can't play mobile game. Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn it.
A battle sector also getting a narrative campaign, which is really cool. Like really cool with a narrative campaign for that game. That is a cool game. That's like a really nice game, I think. Like good 40k stuff.
I couldn't get into it. I really tried, and I couldn't get into it.
It's it really shines in like multiplayer and skirmishes and stuff like that. Once you like really just try to get better at it, it's really fun.
Another one that I've had a code for since it came out, and I just still haven't played it. I get too distracted. But one I did play was Space Marine 2, and I got a bit bored, if I'm honest. But it's getting an update, Siege Mode, which I'm assuming is Wave Survival.
Yeah, so I'm going to say something very controversial about Space Marine 2, and that is that it is a very good 7 out of 10 game. That means that it's much better than average. A lot of people are going to like it, but if you played Saber Interactive's previous games, like World War Z, it is like you would definitely expect better hordes. Like the hordes in World War Z are the best in any video game ever. Yeah. So, and you have like these like mounted defenses, and like it's just, you kill hundreds of zombies or like thousands. It's like crazy how many you kill. In Space Marine, you get like and it's like every level you have like one or two of these like really cool events. In Space Marine, it's like 3 in the campaign, 3 or 4. And it's just so disappointing. Then you have like things that aren't as fun to fight, like Thousand Suns. But the Siege mode, I really like that they're adding in like actual horde stuff more and more. Because I really hope the next Space Marine will have more of that. Still a good game. 7 out of 10 is still good. But like, dang, they really could have like done a little bit more with the hordes, I think.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I will say that I think it's probably the best. It's probably the best 40k game.
The combat is extremely satisfying. I don't really know why about Sofia. I was just like, I just didn't care. I was like, it's cool and it's badass, but what is it beyond that?
When you're like in the sort of like this, I want to say the story areas where you're looking like the Imperial Guard are trying to hold off the Tyranids. And there's like a Bane Blade and a Lehman Russ, and there's like that stuff. I geeked out with that. I was like, that's amazing. I love that shit. That is, and when you're marching up to the final fight, and there's just like Space Marines marching alongside you and big tanks rolling past, like that is viscerally cool. Particularly when like the Dreadnought picks up the Hellfire and just like grabs that rock and just like, nope. I'm here with you, and just takes it out. I was like, so cool.
It's probably the most cinematic and coolest one, but I think Dark Tide is probably the better game.
I think it's.
Well, both of them are very good in the end, anyway. Yeah.
Speaking of Space Marine 1, they're calling it like something like Ultimate Edition. It's just a remaster.
Mastercrafted edition.
Yeah, Mastercrafted. It's getting 4K. It's getting. I don't think if the gameplay will be updated. It just looks a bit prettier and cool.
I hope they haven't changed the end boss fight with your lovely QuickTime events.
Ooh, I love those.
What a shit end to a game.
You can't complain about QuickTime events. You've been talking about Clear Obscure like for
that's different. But speaking of not a shit ending, a Dawn of War remaster, which is the last good 40k real-time strategy game.
I'll level with you. I'm very excited. When I first saw this, I was like, and then I thought, actually, no, you know what? I'm quite into this, and I'm quite into this.
I love that. I saw a thing from the developer, and they're like, don't worry, we're not changing anything. It's just looking prettier, because they're just like so scared that people are like, well, they're going to make like Dawn of War 3.
Yeah. Also, the HUD optimized for widescreen displays and stuff like that. Obviously, this is great because I don't know how many people have tried to play Dawn of War lately, but you need to like mod it and like go into files and stuff like that to actually get it like to 1080 resolution. So just having it like, start boot up in the right resolution is great.
I was also really worried that they were going to do here's Dawn of War, but don't worry, we'll be releasing the DLC separately. But it looks like they're not. It looks like there's both the Necrons that came with the Tau, and I can't remember the name of that, and also Soulstorm's in there as well. So it looks like they're like releasing everything in one big lump, which I'm like.
Were Tau ever in it? Wasn't that like a mod that added in? Oh no, was that for Dawn of War 2 that just added it?
They were added in. So there was Winter Assault, which added the Imperial Guard. And
that was a great campaign as well.
It was, and then you had the DLC afterwards, which had the Necron and Tau in it, and that created like the Risk map where you could then. And then Soulstorm was the third and final DLC, which they added the Adeptus Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle, and another faction. I can't remember. I think it was another faction. And that was where you had like the Galactic, like you had multiple systems map. So it looks like they're all being added together because there's screenshots here of the Sisters of Battle and the Necrons, which suggests that they are going to add it in one big lump. Which good.
Rare, generous W from Games Workshop for sure. But just to wrap up, Skulls event had a very, very dashing host in Rahul Kohli, who's, of course, coming in that Saros game. That's the sequel to Returnal, so I'm excited about that. And I'm never going to complain about that guy being on my screen, because goddamn, good-looking fella. And also, apparently he voices the ball gun guy, which is pretty cool. Or someone in ball gun, which I didn't know.
He's a fine-looking man.
He certainly is.
Oh, you didn't mention that Gladius is getting some extra little content packs, which I like. I like Gladius. I think it's a relatively neat game.
I must have missed that one. I apologize.
Oh, and also the fact that Warhammer's coming to Rust for some reason.
Yeah, I did see that, and I was like, how the hell is that going to work out? Because in Rust, aren't you like making a gun out of like a pipe and a stick? Yeah. So what, you're going to make a bolt gun? Or is it'll just be cosmetics, I assume?
Oh yeah, it says here you can look forward to new look for your character base and crafted weapons with the Death Corps of Krieg pack. I mean,
of course it would be the Nazi faction.
Yeah, that makes sense for Rust.
It does.
But yeah, that was the Skulls event. Honestly, pretty good. Like most of the time, this comes by and I just like, I don't care. But this time, like I was skimming through and I was like, there's a lot of stuff here that I'm like relatively excited about, which is nice.
Yeah,
I mean, not Warhammer 3, which is a bit depressing, but
I was a bit down on it to start off with, but I think that's mostly because I was trying to do stuff in between watching it. Fred was streaming it, and I was watching Fred, and I was just like dipping in and out. And I think I only saw I saw the Space Marine 2 Siege play, which I'm like, I don't really care about that. And I saw I was really invested in Supremacy in the trailer, and then turned out to be a shitty mobile game. And I was like, oh, this is bullshit then. But actually, having gone through the list, it's actually pretty good.
Oh, sorry, we missed the biggest announcement. There was a Secret Labs collaboration. So if you want a Warhammer desk and chair combo,
woo!
But yeah. Pretty good.
Secret Labs is watching this. Send that to me. I want that.
7 out of 10. I would, 7 people out of 10 will like this. 7 dentists recommend Skulls event 2025.
Yep, it was good. It was good.
But if you want to talk about 10 out of 10s, we should talk about what we've been playing. And someone else go before me, because I'm going to take up so much time.
Yeah, you go ahead.
So folks,
I'll unload.
I finished this little game called Clair Obscure, and this game has broken me emotionally. It is truly a masterpiece. There are issues in it. Like, I'm not going to talk about any plot because it's phenomenal and you should experience it yourself. But the combat system
we told you not to before.
I know. I won't. The combat system is exceptionally fun. It's turn-based, but there's dodging and parrying and jumping and different kinds of parrying. And it's got me considering playing a FromSoft game, because I was like, when you get in that combat and you master a boss, it is the most exhilarating feeling that I've ever experienced. But it has some issues, but still 10 out of 10 for me. And I literally have lost count of the number of times I have like wept whilst playing this game. 2 times I finished playing and went to bed, and I had to wake up my girlfriend to console me because I was crying so hard. Like I went in, I finished the main plot, and I went in, and she was like half asleep, and she went, "Are you okay?" And I went, "No, I finished the game. and then I just couldn't stop. And I went on to 100% it, just the achievements and stuff. I'm sure there's still stuff I've missed, but yeah, what a game. Truly phenomenal. Please play it. It's a masterpiece. I love it.
I like that you're young and still have feelings.
It's great. I love it. I love feeling things. It's truly a marvel.
I always feel like Dennis and It's Always Sunny, where it's like, you remember feelings? Like when you were a kid?
I feel like I have too many feelings. The problem is I think that game would break me.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm slightly worried to play it because I'm just like, I don't know if I've got the emotional resilience to deal with it.
I'm so scared because they're making it into a film. And there's one of two scenarios. I go see it and I hate it because it's a video game adaptation film, and those are very rarely good, apart from Minecraft, of course. Masterpiece. Or I go and it's good, and then I just have to sob in a public setting for like 2 hours. But either way, I'll be there. I could literally talk about this game for 3 hours, but I don't want to yap forever. But I will say the hardest boss in that game, I won't name him, took me. I played for 2 hours the first time I tried, got really pissed off, and then I watched Nakey Jakey's latest video, which is really good, about CS:GO, and he got pissed off, and he's like, you know what? I talked to someone, and they said, who do you want to be in those moments that challenge you? And I was like, that's great advice. So I went back with a new perspective, played for another 2 hours and lost, but I learned. And then when I finally beat him, my heart rate must have been 175. I was so elated. It's like, yeah, and that's what got me to want to try a FromSoft game. Because I was like, well, you know, if this boss in this game that isn't one of the hardest games ever made gave me this feeling, then, you know, what if I played Elden Ring and then I beat a guy? How will I feel then? So we'll see. I might get into hard games, but I make no promises. But yeah,
that's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
It's fun. I played like 64 hours, I think. It's phenomenal. You can complete the main game in like 20. Just put it out there if you don't have 60 hours to spend. But it's on Game Pass. Play it. Someone else.
Nice. It's like please a JRPG from France, so I enjoy calling it a Le RPG.
A JRPG.
No, Le RPG.
Yeah, RPG. It kind of reminds me of the French animes that we got in like I guess it would be the 90s. Things like Mysterious Cities of Gold and Ulysses 31. It's that kind of unhinged level of mania that the French seem to.
It is so aggressively French, and they're not afraid to make. There is cosmetics that you can collect that are called baguette, where everyone is wearing a striped shirt, a red beret, and is carrying a baguette.
I feel like the French have this we're very reserved, and we do not we smoke and we look down upon you, and then you go, well, can I see some of your fan art? And they show you that shit, and it's like, what are you doing? Why? But what? How is it doing that? It's that kind of, you know, you ask to see their artistic side, and suddenly it weirds you out.
I remember the old presentations from Ubisoft like half a decade ago when they were always on E3 and stuff like that. It was the funniest thing ever. There's always like some super bored Frenchmen coming out. It's like, we made the game that you can see on the screen as well. I don't need to tell you. It's the game series that you know. So I could be in the studio coding and making it.
I'm still sitting here.
Anyway, it's just I love just always like the bored Frenchman coming out. It's being just, you know what?
The team that made this is like relatively small and has a few Ubisoft ex people. But the main guy, my favorite fact about him is that he has a YouTube channel where he perfects Devil May Cry levels. Could not be a more fitting character. But yeah, the soundtrack is also phenomenally French and really good.
The soundtrack, did they find that guy on like SoundCloud or something? Just amazing.
Everyone watching this video, pause right now, go to Spotify and search Monoko. Listen to that. It is such a bop. But yeah, the soundtrack is 8 hours and all of it's good.
Jeez. I love a game with good soundtrack. That's awesome. I'm really glad you're enjoying it. And I have got that on my wish list, so I do want to.
Someone needs to talk about something else and cut me off, otherwise I'm going to be here all day.
Okay, well,
I've been... Go ahead.
Okay, I've been playing Age of Wonders 4 a lot, and I really like that game. But I also think that it's got the same problem as Total War in that when you play on the harder difficulties, it is just more annoying rather than harder. I mean, it is harder, but it's also more annoying to deal with. So I'd almost finished a map. I'd had the last enemy was under siege. I was like, we've got this, right? No problem. As I laid siege, some events spawned like an entire three extra armies on me, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, so I dealt with them, and then my army was a bit battered, so I was like, okay, I can now lay siege the city. Another 3 armies. I was like, okay, I can deal with that. Great, now we're laying siege. So of course now you need to wait a few turns. In the 3 turns it took me, the AI had recruited 4 fucking stacks. At which point I couldn't win that fight, and I was like, oh, I'm now gonna have to re-recruit all this bullshit. And then I'm going to have to march across the map. And I went, you know what? I can't be fucked. Surrender. I can't. Like, you've beat me through sheer exhaustion of I can't be asked to deal with this right now. And I think that, like, the game beat me, but only because I couldn't be fucked to do it all. And I can't help but feel that's probably bad.
I really do like Age of Wonders 4.
It's great. It's genuinely great.
I never play it. This is the problem with making videos. I love it. It's so much fun. I think it's one of the most creative and like free, like you can do whatever you want really. It's an RPG and a tactics game all rolled into one. It does absolutely awful on my channel, so I hate playing it because I'm just like, I resent you. You bring me nothing.
Yeah, it is the problem. I want to play it for a video, and I was like, I need to I want to learn a little bit more how to, because I don't play it very often. So I was like, so I got to that point, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I was so close to completing it, and I just couldn't be asked. And that really killed it for me, and I was playing on hard difficulty, and there is like a higher difficulty. And having looked at the guides on how to play that, people are like, oh, well, you need to do this exact, like, you need to take these books, and you need to do this exactly, otherwise you won't win. To which point I'm like, well, then what's the fucking point in playing it? If you can only win with very specific methods. I mean, yes, it's a challenge, but Christ, it must be a really tedious one to do. But why the fuck would anyone do it? So yeah, so I've been playing Age of Wonders 4.
Sounds like fun.
I'm not necessarily enjoying it, even though I do think Age of Wonders 4 is a good game.
What was your what faction did you make, or did you just use a preset?
I made a tentacle eyeball,
Obviously.
Yeah, monster thing leading what was my faction? I lived underground because I wanted to try out the subterranean.
Oh yeah, I've never done that.
Updates. So I played that, and I genuinely really, I love the way you can sort of mold your faction. All that's really, really cool. I like the way you can like give them, your major transformation, so you can make them all have tentacle legs if you want to. That's quite cool. Just couldn't be bothered to spend, the next hour and a half of my life rebuilding my army so I can go back and try and do the same thing I had done previously.
I'll be honest. I heard Age of Empires 4 first, and I was like, I never played that, and kind of like then kind of zoned out. I was like, tentacles, waste. Yeah, like harder difficulties in. I play Age of Wonders on brutal, and it's just like you have just like 6 to 8 stacks, and you just like have those in a clump and you move around. Underground is really good though. Underground is great because then you only have like 1 choke points. They can't come from like a lot of places most of the time, so that helps you a lot.
Yeah. I say I really like that game. I just think it falls down to that. Like, I want a challenge, but I don't want it to be complete bullshit. And I think when it falls into the bullshit area, you kind of go, bother with this anymore. I don't want to spend the next hour and a half, redoing this thing. I don't have that long in my life. Don't know. I'm a shell of a human being as it is. I don't have that much time left on my internal body clock.
I only have a limited time on this mortal coil. I can't beat this.
Yeah.
Fred, what you been playing?
Yeah, I'm gonna be really quick about the games that I play because I play a ton of stuff on the stream. So we're gonna be going through these. I played a sequel to one of my favorite games ever, Fight Crab, which is the sequel is titled Fight Crab 2.
You told us about this.
Fight Crab 2 was not as good, but it's still in early access. But like I was very, very disappointed with like the quote unquote campaign. It was not as much fun. If you don't know the premise, you're playing as a crab, physics based. Basically, you're trying to like wield weaponry. The first one starts you off very slowly, like you start fighting another crab, you try to push it off the table, then you get like a knife, and you're a crab with a knife, and you like try to unwieldy use a kitchen knife, and then it just kind of ramps up to like different weapons. and then it ramps up even more to like you're fighting some like king crab flying on a flying seal using the like trident of Triton to like kill you with that, or like rocket launcher and like a bunch of stuff. Fight Crab 2, not really as good, I'll say, but still they have time to fix this.
I've also been playing Fight Crab 2.
Nice.
And I managed to. There's like one mission where you need to save the people, and they're like on a little plateau thing that can be knocked down. And I started that mission. I was like, okay, this is going to be fine. Immediately, my claw went whoomph, everyone off. I was like,
Yeah, the first one you kind of play as normal sized crabs at first, so you like play like in some sort of like sushi restaurants and like grocery stores and stuff like that, and now you're like kaiju stuff.
Kaiju crab.
Yeah, but cool game anyway. Then Tempest Rising, obviously. I don't know if I played that last time as well, but that's a great RTS game. That's like such a hype soundtrack. Like if you just want like a really cool hype soundtrack, you can just go to YouTube, like check out Tempest Rising soundtrack. Almost all the songs are great. Like Death Squad or whatever it's called is one of my favorite ones.
Oh yes, I remember seeing you play this.
Crusader King 3, the new DLC. It's pretty cool. You know, you're a Khan, you're trying to like unite the tribe, stuff like that. It's pretty nice. If you like Crusader Kings, I think that one was pretty good. Played Wisdom Academy. Dang, that's early access like Harry Potter school. It is they need way more time in the oven to fix stuff there. Basically, I played it for like a couple of hours and then like, yeah, this doesn't work. Like this is just bugged out, so I can't do anything. Yeah, better restart the entire academy. But cool premise regardless. Went back for some Jedi Academy for May the 4th. Dang, it was a long time since we actually did a podcast. Always a good trip to go back to. Wonky and really, really good. And wonky because I was playing the... you might say, oh, it says really good, blah, 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 blah. But I was playing the level with hover bikes and in the canyons. And that is wonky as shit. Still very fun. Play the precinct.
Oh, that looks
basically,
good.
It's like reverse GTA. You go around the town and you like put little like tickets on cars and like you try to stop criminals and all that.
Than just like walking around being police. Is like any story? Okay, good. So if it was just police simulator, I'd nah.
No, it's a good game. I definitely recommend this. Then Doom: The Dark Ages. I mean, it's Doom. It's not as good as Eternal in 2016, I think. It's very different, slower, still very cool. Like it has some stuff. So a lot of games like Split Fiction, things like that, will have like these concept levels with like good mechanics, but if you would have to play them for more than 5 minutes, they're not that good. And Dark Ages have some of those segments where you like control a giant mech or a big dragon and stuff like that. Those concept levels are like, they should have put a little bit more effort into those. Because even during those periods you play those, you can kind of feel like they should have just put more effort into this. Obviously the new Stellaris DLC. Really good, really weird bugs, but a good DLC, very good updates. You guys wanna do a community Old Grumblers game?
Yeah, we could do that. Like
tomorrow.
Like Stellaris.
Jesus.
Well, tell me one weekend and we'll do it, or whenever it works for you guys. I'll probably be playing it this weekend. We were doing a community game as well, and some of the stuff in it is pretty OP in the new DLC as well. Like bioships are crazy right now. Like they're just insane.
I've heard they're quite broken.
Yeah, they're 100% broken. They get like more big weapon slots and artillery stuff than like even Titans and stuff like that. So you can just build like Titans really, really well. You can also like put a growth glance on them because they mature. So if you can make like the smallest one and make just put a growth gland on it and have nothing on it, like nothing at all. And then they'll grow up to be like the best one, and they cost nothing to make. And they'll still be like more powerful than a Titan, every single one. It's like mind-bogglingly balanced. Also some Helldivers 2. Check the updates. Defending Super Earth. Super Earth is under attack.
You've got urban maps now, haven't you?
Yeah, they're very cool. Actually, they're very nice.
We played like one game of the new enemy type and got absolutely shit stomped and just never went back.
But it's I like the updates. And then some Oblivion Remaster, obviously. Very cool to go into this. I've been enjoying that one. It's like still the best quest lines, but worst progression in any Elder Scrolls games. The difficulty is also like so weird. But you can just get mods for that. Then I played some South of Midnight, which is very good, very cool, cool like story game. It's a nice game, obviously. I think it's a bit underrated, and also like Clear Obscura. I also tried out for like a couple of hours, and that's also like I can understand why everybody just raves on about it. It's a cool game.
You play so much stuff.
Yeah. Also, I forgot Blacksmith Master as well. Play that for a full day.
Yeah, I've got a key for that, and I keep meaning to try it out.
If Fred's going to go on about 15 games, I'm going to mention one more. Captain of Industry just had its update 3, Trains, Space, and Asteroids. That game rocks. It's like Factorio, but with trucks and trains and boats and many things. It's very cool. I've got like 18 hours in a week, which may not be much for Fred, but it's all for me.
That sounds quite nice. Have you heard of Every Day We Fight?
Yes.
Did I mention this last time?
I think I've...
It's basically like an XCOM
Hooded Horse,
game.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's Hooded Horse. It's like an XCOM game, but it's like it's like resetting is so you know how like in what's that film with Tom Cruise where he keeps going back in time.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Day. Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. It's like Edge of Tomorrow. You got these 3 guys. There's been like an alien invasion or something. They're trapped in this city, and they die, and then they just kind of restart from where they were. And it's that kind of thing. I tried the demo, and it was pretty good. I quite liked it. I will say that I had a real hard time doing the first mission. I got rolled every single time I tried that first mission. And at first I'm kind of like, well, maybe it's like Edge of Tomorrow, where, he gets dumped on the beach and then immediately gets nuked, and then he does it again and he gets nuked again, and then he's like, oh, I need to move over here. But after like my 6th or 7th go, I was like, I'm just getting rolled every single time I try this mission. And so I was basically going to do a video about how I got rolled. And I just happened to manage to do it that very time by finding some bugs in the game, particularly that one of the characters has this ability where she can create a hologram, which like pulls threat. And these aliens spawn that can grenade. And it's a real problem because if they grenade you, it's basically a one-shot kill. So I found that sometimes if you have this hologram up, the grenade aliens hate it so much, they'll just literally run straight up to it and grenade themselves and it together in like a suicide pact, which actually worked out quite well for me. So once I'd done that, I kind of worked out that I could win it, and I did it. But it seems really cool, and like the XCOM part of it hangs together really well, and there's like a whole exploration thing where you can like look around the city and try and find bits and pieces, and that looks quite cool. It's certainly interesting to see where it goes from. I'm interested, but also concerned, but interested.
I hope this isn't another Lamplighters League.
Look, I did liken it to Lamplighters League, but it's not the kiss of death. It's not the kiss of death, all right? It might...
This is my favourite game of the year. Guaranteed studio closure.
Lamplighters League was really good. I will die on that hill, right? It was like harebrained schemes, brilliant developer, and I think they didn't... They have not been recognised in their own time, in my opinion. Like 20 years from now, Lamplighters League... It'll be in the Louvre. People will be going, oh, I can't believe that there was only one person that liked this game.
And he cut off his ear and went mad.
You know what's like with Lamplighters League and stuff like that? Shadow's Gambit is like the best stealth 'em up kind of game out there. Like it's so good.
So good. The company went bust.
It's on Humble Choices right now this month as well. Still.
See, some games just don't get recognized, and I don't think it's their fault. I wish I was a bigger YouTuber, so I could go, hey, here's this great game. Everyone should go and play it, and people would actually go and play it.
Yeah, but instead we say you should go play this, and people actively avoid it.
We had one person who was like, "What game was it that Fred mentioned last time?"
Oh yeah.
And we were like, that's what feeds these now for like the next year. Because we did say we were gonna be reading up, reading all the stuff. Let's see here what comments we got.
I've just been doing the
last
exact
time.
thing.
Was the Slaanesh speculation? Yeah, 1 month ago.
Goodness me, we need to.
Yeah. Tell you what, while you're doing that, there's one more game I want to talk about. Cthulhu Keeper. Let me sell this game to you. If you took Dungeon Keeper, right, and Shadow's Gambit and Cthulhu and made them kiss, right, while you watched in a chair nearby, and the resulting tentacled mess would basically be Cthulhu Keeper, where you kind of have your creepy Cthulhu person, and they go around and slit people's throats in like a Shadow's Gambit style stealth mission. Node-like, so like you go from one area to another. So you might go, you go on a mission, you start in one area, you kill everyone, you dig up some graves, then you go and complete that area, and then you need to go to a different area, and you need to complete like several areas, a little node map before you then can go back to your Dungeon Keeper base, where you're digging out a big hole for a portal or a library or a temple, and then occasionally a romantic couple will come by and try and investigate your weird broken down hospital for some reason, and then you kill them with a deep one for no particular reason, and that is basically the game, and it's kind of fine. I think, yeah, it's fine.
Good.
That's my review.
I've just been scrolling through the comments. It's mostly people saying what DLC they want. There's one person that says, this dude is borderline looking like a little girl. He's almost cute. Can only assume they're talking about monsters.
Nice.
Oh yeah, it doesn't narrow it down very much, also.
Saying the last.
So
DLC was
I will
one
once again
characters.
though say, because people don't seem to understand when I say the end times have to happen because that's a different IP with units. Once again, I will say that the difference is, has been explained to me. If something existed before the end times, that's fine canonically, right? Like Bugman's Rangers. They existed, they were introduced in end times. Same with Silvering Guards.
They were already a thing.
Yeah. And a bunch of stuff like that. But some stuff is created because of the end times. And this is the difference that people apparently never hear me say, even though I say it so many times, every single goddamn podcast. If something is created because of the end times, like for example, Storm Fiends are made because the end times are happening, and therefore they're made into like getting into the battlefield because the end times are happening. They exist. For example, Nagash rising up, Mortarks becoming a thing. The Morghasts. Yeah. I think Morghast has got retcon, but Mortarks, for example, and their Dread Abyssos and things like that, they were created because the end times are happening and because Nagash rolls up in the end times and things like that. So there's a difference between existing because the end times and existing only in end times lore and things like that. Which is like we have 5 comments about again.
I think we're going to get the end times at some point. I think there's going to be like a new Total War sort of era, if you like. Total Warhammer 3 era. We'll be moving into the end times, and we'll start getting end time stuff. I think it's just going to happen.
I don't think it quite justifies another game, but yeah, I think it will be like a big, expensive expansion. Like we may even break the £30 mark on that one.
Bryce, can you imagine the chaos?
Quite literally.
Pandemonium.
There'll be as much chaos in the game as there is on the Steam reviews.
Yeah, but it opens up so much stuff they can potentially do. So I would be amazed if it's not on the cards.
Well, there's so much of the map that's still empty. There's so much. There is still quite a lot of space. I know they're just plopping people around randomly for some variety, but there's still quite a lot of empty space on the map. Like
there are still some provinces in Lustria which don't have a legendary lord associated with them. So I think we can certainly. We
want a legendary lord per settlement in Lustria.
This continent can fit so many legendary lords in this bad boy.
I think like they could probably just do like put in lords almost anywhere, because you're gonna fight lords somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Like why just have like the dude necromancer in Templehof when you can fight like a legendary necromancer in Templehof? Like I don't get why they don't just make stuff more special, or why people would be afraid of having more special stuff. Even if they just start right next to each other, I personally don't care.
I think they probably just get worried. I think it's why they moved Manfred, because like, well, if you've played Manfred, do you really need to play Vlad and Isabella, because he's right there and the mechanics aren't different. If they focus on making mechanics different, like if like Elspeth and Karl start quite close to each other, but Elspeth is a drastically different campaign than Karl, so it's well worth playing if you have already played Karl, which you have. I've seen the stats. Everyone's played Karl.
I do think it's nice they are moving away from this faction's a baseline faction, so therefore doesn't have any mechanics. It feels like they're going, oh no, everyone needs their own mechanic now, because otherwise...
Yeah, Ogre Kingdoms are all different. Empires all different.
You have to remember, like, the most subscribed mods are still like Mixus Unlocker. That's like still number 1. And then it's like Recruit Defeated Legendary Lords on 4th place for most subscribed.
Mm-hmm.
And Mixus Legendary Lords is like just after, the overhauls. 9. On 11th most subscribed, which is crazy still. Yeah, it's like almost 200,000 subscribers on Mixus Legendary Lords. So, I mean, people just want more legendary stuff around.
They just want to, it just makes for more interesting fights. Like, if you fought, I don't even know, like the Talabekland leader, you fought the Moot leader, and the same for Aberheim and Middenland or Hochland or whoever isn't Boris. Like, they're all just the same. Why isn't Boris and the Red Duke play? Like, why are they not lords? Like, I don't care. Don't give them any mechanics. Just give them some effects. I literally could not care less. Just make them playable.
The league said that Boris was going to be in the End Times DLC, which, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised with, because of course Middenheim is where the End Times sort of finale happens, so it kind of makes sense.
They've been cock-teasing us with Boris since, like, wasn't he Warhammer 1?
Yeah.
Jesus.
In Warhammer 1 and 2, he was also like the strongest level 1 lord in the game, because he started with like his White Cloak of Ulrich, which gave him, -8 or 9 melee attack around him, aura, and then he had his aura as well, like that was innate to him, that also gave like -5 melee attack or something.
Yeah,
because I remember he
past him and drops their weapons.
Because I remember together with his Reichland, with his Rune Fang, he also gets regen. So I remember they had just remade it like reworks the vampires, and Kemner was starting there. So like turn 10 or something like that, I was fighting him with like 3 stacks of his free skeletons, and he killed like 2 of those because they only have like 14 or 15 melee attack, so they couldn't hit him. And whenever they hit him, he just regens.
I love the idea that
insane.
He has it's not a magical effect. It's a cloak. It's just that beautiful that people get distracted and like they can't focus on attacking properly. It's like, wow,
it's the White Cloak of Ulrich. It probably like radiates cold, so their bones get too cold to move properly.
Fair enough. Right. And I mean, most comments are just DLC predictions. But what should we ask for comments for this week? Who do you think the third faction is going to be? What mechanics do you think they're going to get? What is your favorite flavor of cheese?
How good was it?
Or how many would you guys rather have that they just release like just lords or something like that, and then they just like cram them literally everywhere, and you just have legendary lords in some way, like not legendary lords, but like at least special lords instead of the generic ones, because you're gonna fight somebody anyway. Yeah. Like, is that a good idea or not?
And also, let us know what your favorite reveal was from Skulls. What do you guys think your favorite reveal was?
And why was it supremacy?
I think my favorite was definitely, I don't know, the Dark Tide thing. It looks pretty cool. Robocop with a dog. Like, that seems pretty neat. Might get me to reinstall for like a day.
Robocop got update as well, so that the auto aim doesn't just target heads, it'll also target the crotch.
Genius.
Which is just like so funny.
I mean, that's where I was aiming anyway, so
yeah,
works for me.
Such a good game.
I do need to come back to it.
So that game is getting a DLC in August, I think.
Big news. Yes, I think that wraps things up. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
Right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you got this far, goodness me.
Good job.
We salute you. And for now, that is all from the Old Grumblers podcast. So, Monster Bound and Fred, please go watch them. I do always put their links on the screen, but I'm going to say it just this once. Go watch them, or I'll come get you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.